YouTube podcast world. What's up, family? You already know the name, man. Pays and Plays podcast here. We're giving you a special college football week 7 best bets preview prediction. And I got my special guest. Y'all gonna already know who he was because he was here last time, my boy JT Sports. I got him in the waiting room right now, so I'm about to go ahead and get right into it and have my boy sit here and talk some logic in this college football thing, man. Because I admit it, I haven't been a thing with college football as far as YouTube, but this is the guru guy that you're gonna want to listen to because I mean, he knows more than me in this generation of college football, bro, and I gotta respect it because you just gotta pass the torch sometimes. You feel me? So let's get him in. Let's see. You should be here. Oh, okay. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yo,
My guy, my guy, my guy. What's the word? That boy JT Sports from Duval County.
what's good, my dude?
What's the word, man? How's everything down there in Duval, man? Especially since that Jaguar victory. I already know how the hype's starting to get.
Oh man, I always tell people this all the time. Don't let Jacksonville win the Super Bowl, bro. You're gonna see a bunch of characters that you never saw before. You're gonna see all kinds of hairstyles that you never thought was imaginable. You're gonna see one of the wildest cities in the world. I'll say that, man. You're gonna see a whole you're
Hey,
gonna see you're
you
gonna
know, I
see a
like
whole
when I
bunch.
was living in Charlotte, actually, real briefly, the person that was originally doing my hair, I actually asked her because she was from Savannah, Georgia. I was like, "Have you ever been to like the Jacksonville area?" And she was like, "I think knowing you, because even though I'm from the city in Detroit and I live in the South, I like more laid back, chill area. And I know Jacksonville's country as hell. I know it, but like." I can blend in with that. She was like, I think you would like it. And it was like, I know you guys aren't far away from Daytona Beach, right? So,
Yeah, like we an hour and 30 out.
okay. So, see, listen, man, I might be down to go to a Jazz game one time. And then, as long as we hitting Daytona Beach to see some honeys afterwards, bro, I will.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, if you trying to go see something, I'm gonna take you 4 hours down the way to South Florida. That's really where it's
Ah,
at.
man, I mean,
That's
South
where it's
Florida is
at.
boring, bro. Like, I've been there so many
What?
times, man.
So you never
Like,
been
so
to
listen,
South
I went to
Beach? You never
Miami the
been to the
first time when I
Strip?
was like 18, bro, and I said I went with my mom. But at this point, I was still like a young adult. And she was like, "Look, you're gonna see some things because you in South Beach." Definitely did. So what's up? So I think the last time I was in Miami was right before the pandemic. I want to say like a week before the Super Bowl. That's when I was there was Kansas City and
Tampa
49ers.
Bay.
And yeah, it's still the same thing there now. So, but okay, let's talk about it, man. With college football, since last time you were on here, it was last year before the season. So now we're talking since now we're the 2 month part in. That's once it hits week 8, we know it's 2 months in. What's your reaction so far from what you've seen?
Man, this has been college football's most unpredictable season ever, with the epidemic of regressing quarterback play that has seemingly played like the majority of teams out there. We have started to see the parity that we've been asking for so long now in the Big Ten and the SEC. And now the gap between the Georgias, the Bamas, and the Texas is way smaller compared to the Vandies of the world, the South Carolinas. It's like, yeah, you still have a small talent advantage over them, but if you have quarterback play like what Texas has gotten out of ours, despite being a talented team, you can lose a bunch of close games as we've seen. And like with Florida, it's a week to week sport in college football. You can't judge a team based off last week's outcome because we saw UCLA get their ass clapped by New Mexico 35-10. Listen, I'm not good in geography. If you would have asked me to point out where New Mexico was on the map of the United States, I probably would have had to just laugh and tell you next question. I didn't even know New Mexico was a state, man. Don't laugh at
Hold
me. I
on,
thought it
hold
was a
on, bro. I got
city.
don't disrespect Breaking Bad like that. That's one of the greatest TV shows of all time. That is New Mexico, okay?
That's what people keep telling me, but it's just like, man, you mean to tell me that UCLA can come out of nowhere after that with an interim head coach take down what was supposed to be like a lock CFP team? I mean, how wild is this year going to get? Look at Miami and Texas Tech with the amount of money that they put into these year's teams. Like the gap between them and everybody else in their conference is so wide that they should just smash everybody. But if you were to put those teams and the SEC with those rosters, they'll be a top five SEC team, but they probably will have at least two losses.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of multiple teams in with two losses at least. I mean, and I know you talked about the expansion. It's going to make it even more worse where you're going to have more two lost teams. But
I
it's
think we
funny you
get a
talk
three-loss
about,
team.
yeah, it's going to be, it may be a third one time. If it's like a SEC team that loses a game by 1 point, 2 points, like let's say it's Tennessee. I mean, they've already lost to Georgia. If they have lost already again, you can like correct me on that. But like, if they lose another close game where it's like, well, I mean, and then that's when the conversation comes up. It's funny you mentioned UCLA because we talked about last time how I feel old. So the interim coach is Junior Neitzel, right? So you want to talk about old? I remember his dad. I believe he was the coach at UCLA until they had Jim Mora Jr. So he was the previous coach before Jim Mora Jr. when he left the Falcons. I believe he left either Washington or Oregon. But this is before obviously Oregon and Washington was even at the level where they could be at nowadays. So to see that like a whole like 360 in life, I'm like, bro, so this guy had a son that looks like
Shoot.
he's 20 years old.
Dude, one of the commentators, one of the commentators for CBS, his son's the offensive coordinator. I was like, the dude looked like Mr. Perfect, had like the Hollywood
Oh,
hair. I was
yes.
like, oh yeah, he knows son, he's going to work. They might need to keep this brother around. I was like, he's
I mean, bro, better than listen, and no disrespect to Deshaun Foster as a Carolina Panther legend, but when I found out he got the head coaching job at UCLA, I was like, what? Like,
yeah, doing
like,
press conference. It's kind of like,
like it wasn't like Antonio Pierce. Well, even when O. Pierce went to the Raiders and became a coach, but at least you saw him at Arizona State. He at least was a guy that was in the coaching staff, the coordinator. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of makes sense. But like, I never saw Deshaun Foster be a coordinator to anybody. So that's kind of why I was so lost on how they got that job. And I mean, you had Nico Amavalia, I think I pronounced that right, and just did not go well. Now he's on portal again. So this is his third time looking for another team. So that's that UCLA team, man. I mean,
well, he might be back, man. It looks like he got a lot of like personal investment in the UCLA as far as like he really wants to bring that program back because it's back, it's in the backyard from
yeah,
the
he's from
crib.
Cali. Yeah, all
So
right.
it just because he rallied that team like after they lost to Northwestern. He said, "Hey man, like if you ain't all in and you still ain't trying to give it your all and you already done quit on the season, bro, don't even bother suiting up."
Yeah,
Well, I
man.
respect him for it like that. And that brother was out there doing his thing against Penn State, man. He was looking. I was like, man, if Tennessee had this last year,
Man. And the crazy part, so there's one coach you always been talking about lately.
Kevin DeBoer.
No, not Kalen DeVore. We're talking about Bill Belichick.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I know you saw the news that just came out. Yeah, they had to put out a statement because earlier they were saying they were already planning to buy him out. I mean, I
I didn't mean to
think.
cut you off, but I'm gonna say it because they fucking suck.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They look like
Like,
Bishop Sycamore.
like my question was when he came into this North Carolina job, I'm like, if and listen, I told Patriots fans, and a lot of them tend to agree, if he couldn't drive well in the NFL, how is he going to recruit well?
Yeah, like the thing with Bill Belichick is like he wasn't always bad at drafting. Like people forget, like
Besides
Wes
Tom, okay,
Walker,
so
Julian Edelman, like
yeah,
Richard
like a
Seymour.
two-star guy, but I mean, when you're in that Power Four conference, you can't have two stars starting at quarterback.
Yeah,
You
you see,
can't.
like the issue with Bill Belichick is he's 73 years old, and you
Yeah,
put him in a world that is completely unfamiliar with him. You see, where I went wrong with Bill Belichick and my expectations for him was that I underestimated just how much he had to learn about college football. I was thinking that you can take the NFL approach, use the portal like free agency, treat recruiting like the draft, and they somewhat have done that. They called themselves the NFL's 33rd team in the offseason. But like you said, the issue is they have too many guys on that roster that would be starting on a bunch of group of five
yeah,
teams and not a bunch of teams and Power Four conferences. So that's why, like, they're getting outscored 120 to 33. They're giving up 40 points per game against Power Four opponents, and they're only putting up like 11.
yeah. And the crazy part, you kind of wonder too. I know he's in the NFL now, and ironic enough, he's on IR, but Omari Hampton. Imagine if he didn't leave and he at least had one caliber NFL player.
Yeah,
I mean, he still would have been a first round pick, but you just couldn't imagine. Maybe that would have helped you. But I mean, I don't get it when you got Vince Lombardi, Joe, whatever
Michael
the hell,
Lombardi.
as
Yeah,
your GM guy, and then we know, well, our generation older, the GOAT is the biggest NIL booster of the whole school.
yeah. Then he's leaving the game at
Like
halftime,
that's
and
when I'm kind of like, well, I know Nico went to, like I said, Cali, and I thought, look, I mean, if you would have got him, I think it would have been a lot more better. But I don't
honestly,
understand.
like another issue they have is with the coaching staff. It's like friends and family on that, John.
It's
It's
been
like
that
if
way
you
since
st
New England,
yeah, it's like if you start a business, it's like I'm just gonna hire all my dogs, man. You feel me? Put my peoples on, get my peoples paid.
bro. That's all of it. And it's crazy you mention that because he's had two coaches in his New England career. Charlie Weiss went from offensive coordinator to Notre Dame. I mean,
So that went.
I mean, it worked out for a while, but eventually, and now you see Bill O'Brien, who went to Penn State with all of the BS
Yeah,
that went down, made him somewhat relevant, and now he's back at Boston College trying to, rejuvenate the
yeah.
program, which,
And now we gotta fade them because Clemson's finna clap them like how they did UNC last week.
bro, Clemson, and that's the thing about Diboll now. Diboll now is realizing that he's going to need NIL. And I know he got two NIL people from this past offseason.
Yeah,
I think now he's starting to realize I need to get at least two, three players out of recruiting cycle because listen, I'm all for it. If you're on a horrible team and you got a four-star guy, I understand why you got to play him off rip. But like you've been known for the last 15 years to be one of the most, one of the most known programs in the South, especially as far as a non-SEC team. And the fact that you talk about the quarterback play. I don't think Clay Klutnick is a second ranked quarterback in the draft. I mean, I
oh,
don't
absolutely, absolutely. I don't think I to be real, I saw the Carson back, the
I think
USC
Skylar
quarterback,
Green from Arkansas is maybe QB1
Taylor
if
Green.
you ask me, because he can do everything. He's a dual threat guy. He can throw the ball. I
I
mean,
personally would like to see Taylor Green like transfer to a actually like competent team because he is Arkansas. Like
yeah,
I
but
would
he
love,
already transferred, and that's gonna be the red flag. Because I remember he came from Boise State. I remember he
yeah.
was at Boise State, actually. It's crazy. So I mean, I think next year is what Bobby Petrino is going to be the head coach, the full-time head coach.
I don't know.
See, that's what I'm saying, bro.
That's why he should transfer. Like, could you imagine him at Tennessee?
So so this is my thoughts with Tennessee. I just don't know how you can correlate their playbook to the NFL because I think that's why I know Hendon Hooker had that injury and he probably was a first round projected player, but I realized since he came into the NFL, he looked lost. I don't
Yeah,
know if it's just that air raid style system, and that's probably what it is. But like I know it's a passer friendly league in the NFL, but I don't know, bro. It's just sometimes it just don't work like that because it's always different schemes. And
yeah.
we talk about quarterback classes. I mean, this might be the worst quarterback class I think we're gonna have since with the Kenny Pickett drive.
Worse than
Yep.
last year.
No, wait, what was last year? Oh, what was
We
Shador,
had Cam
Cam
Ward,
Ward?
Shador, and Dart, and Gabriel.
Okay, I think Jordan, I think Jackson Dark isn't bad. I know he looked bad against New Orleans, but I actually sat there and I seen he can throw the ball for sure. It's just that now you don't have Malik Neighbors there.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel didn't look bad, but we're gonna see against Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh defensively isn't the best no more, but when it comes to the Browns traditionally playing at Pittsburgh, they don't do well, right?
Yeah.
Shador, we already know the situation with him, bro. He's now QB2. Well, there are not many he's QB2, but like, come on
They
now.
trying to, yeah, I was like, you finna make it a
Yeah,
third string? Come
and
on
Cam Ward
now.
calling out the team saying we ass, and then that
Yeah.
crazy comeback. And this
Oh,
is the thing
yeah, that
about
was
Cam
wild.
Ward. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. It's just that,
Titans suck.
bro, you got the Callahans, bro. And the thing that kills me about the Callahans is that you got Bill Callahan, which of course, like I said, you're a little younger, so I know who he was. This guy had a number one offense as an Oakland Raiders head coach. He the reason why Rich Gannon became MVP. He had two close to 40-year-old receivers and Tim Brown and Jerry Rice having 1,000 yard. I mean, Jerry Porter was also their number three receiver. Offensive line was always good. And now, then he goes to Nebraska. They're okay for those years, but like the offensive line is his main thing, and the offensive line
It
sucks. So
sucks. Yeah.
now I like Pete. I like was it is it PK? I think he actually has the potential to be a pretty solid receiver. He's a
Oh,
great kick returner.
Chimere DK.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy they got from Stanford, that Moss stuff.
We got your man, the Travis Hunter Destroyer. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have potential, but you're relying on Calvin Ridley,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's kind of my problem. Because yeah, I wanted to get your input on as far as the quarterbacks that were just coming from college to the league. So let's go right into it though with a few picks, a few games. I think you might actually help me actually determine which ones I should go for. So we're gonna start with the only Friday night game, standalone game. You got South Florida. This is a Group 5 team game, but I mean, I think this is the most interesting one of the week. They played at North Texas. North Texas is a plus 1.5 point underdog. This is implications right here to not just the AAC, but college football playoff because USF, yeah, they got the one loss to Miami. But when it comes to college, we know there's a such thing as a good loss because they did lose to them, but Miami's a top five team in the country. They beat
Yeah.
Florida when they were ranked. They beat Boise State when they were ranked. So as far as solo, national televised games, USF is no stranger to it, and I think it's kind of new for North Texas this year.
I like USF. North Texas has an awful run defense, and we know with Brian Brown, like if you can't stop the run, like he's going to be a problem for you all game. And I like USF also because their head coach actually likes to cover and not be a wimp and try to nail the ball out like BYU. Like I'm all for class, man, but let's go for the spread, man. Let's be a man of the people, man. Alex Golesh had my respect for what he did last week, and you have people coming at him talking about some no sportsmanship. Man, get out of here, man. Until the game
Okay,
is
real
over,
briefly,
bro.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was talking to you about the bets I did last week, and one bet that I did not tell you that it was no way that it shouldn't have went under. I had 50.5 on the Texas Tech Houston game. It was a blowout on Texas Tech. But the fact that Houston was letting them run the ball to score,
Yeah,
like you can tell, they're just trying to they're sure trying to get the ball. They stop them, and then they take a knee at like the 5 yard line. I'm like,
yeah.
bro, you
Come
got
on,
backups in.
bro.
Now I understand this, and I think this is why I think the South Florida coach did it. If you got backups that's trying to play,
Yeah,
I think that's a
Sean, we trying to get
confidence
some
piece.
PT. Yeah, like
Yeah,
if
hand
you
the
come
ball
play
off.
for me, we gonna make sure you get some action, man. Not just
Man,
mop up
what you
duty.
right there at the 5, bro. We gotta try at least score a touchdown, bro. At least. But yeah, man. USF, I do think they win this game. The one thing about USF I did pay attention to a little bit last year as a Group 5 team. I know they got blew up by Alabama. They got blew up by a lot of teams, but their defense this year is a lot more better. I know they're going to score points. It's going to get loose, but I mean, I saw that Boise State game. They dominated. I saw the Florida game. I mean, it was neck and neck. Of course, they got blew up by Miami because it's a better quarterback play, but I think this team defensively, they got great run defense. They can get after the passer. And like I had mentioned, when it comes to this spotlight game as a standalone game on ESPN, I think this team shows up. So I think USF could make the playoffs, and it would be very interesting if they do, since, like you mentioned, the head coach, I know his name is already buzzing around. I know I asked
Oh,
him.
absolutely.
So next game, we got SEC matchup. We got Alabama traveling to Missouri and Columbia, Missouri. Tigers is a plus 3.5 point underdog. What's your thoughts on that game?
Man, I love Kalen DeBoer, man. It's hard to bet up against a coach that's 2-0 in the last 3 years against Kirby, Sark, Dan Lanning. The question is, are we going to get the Alabama road team that we saw lose to Florida State in week 1? Or is this the Alabama road team that handled up business and ended Georgia's 6-year home game winning streak? And Alabama's run defense has been problematic this year, which does concern me a little bit because Missouri has this monster at running back named Ahmad Hardy, who they took from ULM. And oh my goodness, you talk about a bulldozer. He put that shoulder down. Somebody's about to get messed up. Yeah, and like their quarterback is really good too. Bo Pabula, I feel he's way better than
Brady Cook.
yeah, like
Remember,
way
we both
better.
agree we did not like Brady Cook, so yeah.
Yeah, and their defense matches up really well with Alabama's offense. This is one of the best defensive lines in the SEC, and nobody talks about it. But Missouri, their defensive line is up there being some of the best in the nation. They got a bunch of freaks. They got a bunch of guys that are like people that you would think were created in like a football factory. So with the kind of size and athleticism that they're going to have coming off the edge, getting that Ty Simpson, I definitely think this is a game that could be closer than expected. I like Alabama to pull off the win, though, even though it is on the road. If you are an elite team, then winning on the road isn't a problem for you. So I like Alabama to cover. I think this is a game that they probably win by at least 6 or more.
I can see that. And the one thing I do like about Ty Simpson, ever since that week 1 loss, I mean, you can argue he's probably been one of the best quarterbacks in the country so far. And that is the one thing you expect with Kalen DeBoer. You expect a quarterback guy that's going to kind of tap into their potential. We've seen it with Jalen Milroe, which honestly I thought was Saban. I thought he wouldn't have been no more than the fifth round pick, but he made Milroe into a third round pick. So that tells you there has to be something. Same thing with Michael Penix, who I thought with the injuries he had, maybe a second round steal, but a top 15 pick that shook me. So evidently we see what he can do, and you're right about Alabama's run defense. I do think it's a little concerning. I wouldn't be concerned about the secondary, but I mean, like you mentioned, if you
Yeah.
can, ground and pound on anybody, it only takes one good play action fake to just,
Yep.
I mean, just throw it over the top. So, and I got to give Missouri their props. They're in the middle of the Midwest where it isn't like Texas, Oklahoma, where you can just go to those states and recruit. They got to recruit from Illinois. They got to recruit from all parts around because they're kind of in the middle of the map. But I do expect this to be a good game, though. All right, next game. Talk about old school. This used to be called the Red River Shootout, but
Yeah,
because
they should still call it that, man. Why we don't got so soft
no, they
now,
they they
man?
they stopped calling it that because of the gun violence that have right. I know. There's always been a Red River Shootout, but
It's
Red
still
River
Red River
Rivalry.
Shootout to me. Hey, it's fine if you call it Red River Shootout to me because that's what I'm gonna be calling it.
Hey, that's what I've always called it, man. It's always at the Texas State Fair out in Dallas. You got the Oklahoma Sooners versus the Texas Longhorns. Texas is -1.5. There are speculations about Mateer, if he's playing or not. If I'm the coach, I'm willing to sacrifice this week of not playing him. This guy just had surgery. Like, what are we
2 weeks
thinking?
ago,
Okay, I
yeah.
know Jordan Hawkins. He
Wow.
played last year, and I think he actually played kind of okay when they had to replace not Jackson Dark,
Jackson
Trey
Arnold.
Arnold. Trey Arnold. See, SEC stuff. So I didn't think he did bad, but and I mean against Kent State, it's going to be, you know, so what? But Texas is coming off that loss against Florida, and I did think maybe that was a look ahead game because of this game. So what's your thoughts on this one?
Man, I don't think Texas was looking ahead, man. I actually think that they lost that game just because they got bad quarterback play, man. Like, and then the SEC with how good these teams are, if you don't have good quarterback play, then you're liable to lose to anybody, no matter how talented of a team you have. Because with the parity that we now have, you can't just have bad quarterback play and think you're finna win like Iowa has with Kurt Ferentz all these years. You're just finna rely on like good special teams, playing good defense. No, like your quarterback has to be able to step up and make some big throws, and Arch Manning couldn't make enough of them against Oklahoma defense that we've seen what they've done all season. The Bryce Underwood, Jackson Arnold, like that Brent Venables front with the aggressiveness and the physicality that they have. Like this is a game where Arch Manning has to come out and he has to do what DJ Lackway did last week. You know, like DJ Lackway, the brother less than a month ago, threw a season's worth of interceptions against LSU, then comes back and shakes back with a really good game. So we need Arch Manning to at least look comparable. Like, can you be comfortable in the pocket? Like, he looks too skittish. He has Anthony Richardson level accuracy. Like, when he misses, I mean, the ball's going all the way in the stands. Like, he's throwing the ball at people's feet. Even if John Mateer doesn't play in this game, I still feel very confident that Oklahoma wins because I trust their defense to force some key takeaways. And when you force Arch Manning to have to live up to the name on the back of his jersey, he just can't deliver.
Yeah, yeah, and it's crazy because OG Archie said he's not going to the drive this year. I think he saw something that we're starting to see. That because
Yeah.
no one just comes off rip the beginning of the year before they even play Ohio State and say he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Most guys we just speculate, we wait until bowl season or whatever, but he straight up said he's not going anywhere. I think we see why because that Ohio State game, the first game, I'm like, okay,
I cut some slack. Like Matt Patricia is week one. You feel me? And then
exactly, bro. And it was a close game, even though the score didn't show it at first. It was a close game. He threw a nice little. See, the thing is, he does stare down a receiver because it was that game. He kept throwing it to that same receiver, that little corner towards the end zone two times in a row, and then he does it the third time and gets it. So I'm like, okay, he likes to stare down guys. I mean, the over under in this game was 43 and a half. Now, I'm not usually a trend person. But other than last year, I want to say the eight previous matchups, 8 out of the 9 has hit the over. It is called the Red River Shootout for a reason. 43 and a half seems kind of realistic to go over. Even if Arch doesn't do the greatest, if they have a game like they did against Florida, I can see it easily going over the 43 and a half.
I got to do some math real quick. So for my phone's
So
dead.
43 and a half. So let's say it's Texas. Let's say it's a 43 and a half. So let's say it's like a 26-20 game or a 26-23 game. That's still like an NFL game, pretty much. That's kind of really pretty much what it'll be. So I think 43 and a half could be more realistic because as far as NFL numbers, 43 and 44 is a key number. So that's kind of how I'm implementing because this is pretty much like an NFL matchup to me. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think points will be over. If Arch gets about at least 2 or 3, if Jordan Hawkins, I mean, I know he's a dual threat guy. If they can at least, and they can run the ball too, by the way. I'm well aware of Oklahoma. I saw how they did against Michigan. They were able to go up and down the field on them if they want to. And I think
Yeah.
Michigan, if Michigan and Texas played again this time around, I think Michigan will win because I don't know. I think this point is just better coaching at this point right now. But yeah, man, 43 and a half is something that I will lean into. But that Oklahoma take is very interesting because
I got them +9.
+9. Wait,
Like
wait,
at the start of
okay.
this week, like I hopped on that thing. I was
Oh,
like,
okay. You did opening lines.
yeah,
Okay.
I was like, we're good. Like this is too good to pass up. +9. I don't care
Plus
if
nine,
John
a
Mateer
neutral. I
plays
mean,
just
well, it's
9.
technically not a neutral site because it's Texas, but I mean, it's a neutral. It's going to be 50-50 burn open,
Yeah.
50
But it's
red.
like if you're gonna give me +9, I don't care if they got Michael Hawkins or John Material. Like with that D, I expect this to be like a moderate scoring game.
Dude, this is why I tell people to take lines early because once lines get to fluctuating, bro, some lines
Yeah.
is not like I think it was 2.5, 3.5 around I want to say maybe Sunday, Monday. And I looked today and I was 1.5. I'm like, yeah, bro. A lot
Is
of
one to
people
have Oklahoma?
it's one it's plus 1.5 Oklahoma. Texas is the
Okay.
favorite, so
Yeah, I'm still shocked at that.
it's the name, bro.
So if John Material plays, do you think that makes so if it's a guarantee that John Material plays, does that make OU the favorite?
I think so. I think so. And by the way, with John Material, I do think he's an NFL quarterback too.
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
know. I don't know if he goes first round, but I mean, he's at least first 3 rounds of the draft.
Absolutely.
So next one, this is actually an interesting Big Ten matchup. Got a couple, but this one in particular, though, you got Indiana Hoosiers. You got the potential #1 overall pick. Everyone's talking about Fernando
Ah,
Mendoza.
Mendoza.
And I remember him from Cal, so I remember he kind of he
Yeah.
was a baller. And they're playing against Oregon. Dante Moore, shout out to him. He's from Detroit. He's doing this thing over there. And, as much as I was talking about Mateer as a Heisman Trophy runner-up, this guy, Dante Moore, I want to say is the top two option right now to win the Heisman. So, what are your thoughts about that game? The game line I'm looking at is 7.5 Oregon at home.
Yeah, like I probably would take 2 points. I'll probably take Oregon minus 5.5 to be a little bit on the safer side. Like, it's not that I don't trust Oregon to cover minus 7.5. I just don't really know how improved is Indiana from last year because they once again dove in the portal. Kurt Cignati, we know he's a good coach, but the talent advantage that Oregon has against Indiana is what I don't know about, which is why I'll feel more comfortable taking Oregon minus 5.5 if I can buy 2 points with this game, just to give myself a little bit of like some space, just in case Indiana actually is able to match up with Oregon and the talent that they have. Because Fernando Mendoza, like, he's a good quarterback, but like, I don't think he's like top 10 pick material, I just watch him, I'm like,
Well, I don't. Well, as I'm looking at the NFL season and I'm looking at the college season, I'm looking at all the teams that need quarterbacks.
you can do a
First
lot worse than
round,
him.
realistically, maybe like 4 teams I think need a quarterback.
Yeah.
The Browns they're trying to figure it out, and they got 2 first-round picks, so they're trying to figure it out right now.
Yeah.
You see,
The
the
Rams
Raiders I
probably,
think is a possibility because outside of Geno Smith,
yeah, you ain't
trusting
got
Kenny
nothing.
Pickett, I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh, Arizona is a possibility. If they think
absolutely.
Kyler Murray is done, that's a possibility. I, I can't really seem to think another team right now, bro. So like, or if you're the 49ers, do you want to get a backup guy, in the fourth round? If you're the Jets, you
Oh
know.
yeah, the Jets are definitely in that
But
conversation.
I
Yeah,
have a problem with that because I think Justin Fields hasn't been playing bad. So see, that's
that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, like it's just like with Oregon, like they have so when you play a team like Oregon, the issue is the kind of guys that they're going to have in the trenches. And that's my thing with Indiana. Like Indiana got outmatched against every elite team that they played last year, and they fluff up their schedule with a bunch of cupcakes. Now they did destroy a really good Illinois team.
I beat
So
USC, right? So
yeah,
yeah.
so I give them props for that. So it's like that's why I would feel comfortable if I buy 2 points and I take Oregon minus 5.5. I like Oregon to get the win, but we still don't really know just what's the ceiling, how truly good is Indiana.
Yeah, and the thing I give Dan Lanning his props on, you don't see too many coaches as far as like, Oregon, where you get somebody from the SEC. You get somebody that was under Kirby Smart, who, I mean, almost understands the same type of program, which is why every year you're still saying Oregon every other year. The fact that he can recruit in the Northwest, he can go to the South and recruit.
Yep.
He can go anywhere, and you see that with a lot of like the Michigans, the Ohio States, and the SEC. Ooh, I say the Southern schools because all those people all kind of battle as far as recruiting down there. But the fact that he's all the way right there, not far from Canada, and he can recruit from California to Nevada, go to Texas. You know what? I think I want to go to Virginia. I think I'm going to Florida. And the thing
Texas,
that,
like,
yeah, and the thing that impressed me with him is I wasn't shocked that they went to Happy Valley and beat Penn
oh,
State
I wasn't at all. Little game,
because
James Franklin, yeah.
yeah, this is the same coach that went into Ann Arbor and blew out Michigan. And I know Michigan wasn't as good as they were, they're not as good as they are to like this day of age, but like you go to the big house and drop a 50 burger on Michigan, that's alarming. So yeah, I definitely agree. I think Oregon will still be a top tier contender for the playoff. Next game. Now, this one we might get a little bit more detail with because we know about the situation that's speculated from this week to today. We got Iowa State going to Boulder to take on Colorado. We know about the Dion surgery that went successful today. I listen, what he's done for Colorado has been the highest they've had dealt since Eric Bieniemy was a backfield running back and Cordell Stewart was the quarterback, right? Heisman Trophy winner. You got multiple players in the NFL, but your health coach. I mean, I think they've been competitive. They haven't been good, obviously, but they've been competitive. So that's still the sign. But
They
with
just can't finish.
yeah, with the blood clock situation, and now you got Iowa State coming in who's pissed off that they lost against Cincinnati, who I think is a very underrated team in the Big 12. But the fact that Iowa State and Matt Campbell is a good coach, he's a good coach. Yeah, I think he is a good coach. I think this will be a very competitive game. I think it was 4.5. It dropped to 3.5 right now. But what's your thoughts on that, especially with this Colorado team post Shador, Travis Hunter era?
You know, I was thinking about taking Colorado because Iowa State is beat up with hella injuries. I definitely feel that played a big impact on last week's game because they definitely are like one of the better teams in this conference. I had them in the Big 12 championship. I like them to win still in spite of the injuries because Matt Campbell is a better coach than Dion. Two, they got more reliable quarterback play. You see, Colorado's issue isn't that they're a bad team. Like they get out the fast starts, but they falter in the second half because for one, they have a running quarterback who just can't throw at all. Like K Saw, I love the brother. Like you remember him from 2023 when he was snapping at Liberty.
And he was
Yeah.
sick at Liberty, bro.
Yeah, like he was the best quarterback out of the G5 that year. His issue is he'll look at a receiver wide open and not rip it. Like he just doesn't trust it for some reason. And late in the games, it's just you can't trust him to drive downfield and lead you on a comeback drive. He just doesn't have that clutch gene. And that's why Colorado loses a bunch of games because in college football, the difference is one or two things: turnovers and quarterback play. And Colorado loses both of those late in the game. Like Caden Salter also has bad turnovers. And then two, like Deion Sanders doesn't know that timeouts can be used in the final 2 minutes for some reason. He blows me with that clock management. So
Yeah.
if Colorado has to blow out Iowa State to win this game, if this is a close game, it has to go Iowa State's way, and that's how I lean.
Yeah, I agree because actually what surprised me with them is I believe they're what 2-4, right? But
Yeah.
the first game of the year was against Georgia Tech, where I'm like, that game was very competitive. And then eventually, like you said, the quarterback play was, listen, unpopular opinion, man, Haynes King to me is a dog.
Oh, absolutely.
He is a dog.
Not an
He's
NFL guy,
getting,
but like, yeah.
if he's not even getting an NFL shot, I would be shocked. But like he took that team down the field on his own. And then, they just
Like
got
Riley Leonard. You remember Riley Leonard from last year? He reminds me a lot of him.
yeah, I think he's better, Riley Leonard, though. So that's, I mean, but that the problem with, so what's up with, do they have like, was it Jordan Hill? Is that like the 4-star guy they got that everyone was all hyped about last year?
For
Colorado.
No, so they got Juju Lewis.
Juju
So
Lewis. Juju
yeah,
Lewis. I think his name is Jordan, but I think
Julian Lewis,
Julian,
but they nicknamed
Julian
him
Lewis.
Juju.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like I don't think Dion wants to start him considering like like everything that's going on with the offense, young player, and if you start him too early and he struggles, then you already know where he's going when the season ends. But if he was to play in this game, I think I would probably be more comfortable taking Colorado because like, yeah, he's a freshman, but I mean, like maybe he'll be willing to pull the trigger. You feel me? Like K Saul just doesn't pull the trigger on open guys for some reason. Like he'll either check it down or like he'll run around and lose a bunch of yards. So like they just don't have a consistent enough passer behind center for them to really be like a decent team this year. I think they probably end up with like 4 wins, maybe five, and they miss out on the bowl game.
Yeah. I
And it's
will
tough because
say,
they are a good team. Like if they play their best game and K Saul doesn't have any turnovers, which this very well could be a game where he balls out. Like I don't think he's played like boo boo garbage. You feel me? It's just that he just leaves like 3 or 4 plays off the field that end up being plays that decide the outcome of the game.
yeah, they've been actually able to run the ball. It's crazy enough they've been able to run the ball this year.
Their offensive line is actually really good.
And I was just about to say that. It goes to having that five-star guy that play. This is why I feel about freshmen. Like I said, if you got a team like Colorado that's trying to figure it out, if the guy's a five-star guy and can play, obviously when it comes to lineman, me being a former lineman, I feel like most of what you do don't change. It's usually the same stuff. It's either you base blocking or you're blocking an angle or you're pass
Yeah.
blocking. As long as your kick step is good, you should be all right. Can you pick up blitzes? If you pick up the blitz, it got to be picked up in the inside. I'd rather have you pick it up in the inside than pick it up in the outside because more than likely that quarterback should know that somebody's coming from the corner. So, you know, the blocking has been good. The defense, because I saw that TCU game. They were very competitive, and then I saw the clip at the end where they were covering.
Yeah. Like
TCU's it's a fourth down play. They throw up dot. It is like, oh wow.
yeah, the defense has regressed because they did lose a lot of
Right,
talent on that side. Like they lost a future first round pick in Cole Hood. Like he went to 10, like so during the spring portal window, because they had 2 portal windows, it's
right.
gone now. Tennessee basically said, "Hey, bro, we got a bag for you. Come play for us." That boy transferred it. Now because Tennessee had an All-American corner named Jamal McCoy. He tore his ACL in January. So
Mm,
they've been incredibly thin in the secondary. So they steal him, and he's been one of the best cornerbacks in all of college football. Without a doubt, he's an All-American. And Colorado lost that. They lost Nikhil
Travis
Hill
Hunter,
Green,
right.
him too. Like,
Shiloh.
yeah,
Yeah,
they lost a lot of good players on defense from last year. So, like, I definitely think this probably is a little bit of a rebuilding year for them. And I think Iowa State, I think this will be a close game because the injuries they have to overcome. I think like one of the top running backs is injured.
mhm,
So I think that they probably end up winning this one. It'll be a lot closer, but I wouldn't be shocked if Iowa State just blew them out too.
right. So speaking of Tennessee, next game, you got Arkansas at Rocky Top. And Arkansas is a 12.5 point favorite. Now, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know about the over under. I would lean over because I know Arkansas isn't stopping anybody. They could drop points on you. Tennessee can drop points on you,
Yep.
but this team has been the kryptonite for Tennessee because for some
Yeah,
reason,
they beat him
every
last
few
year.
years, every few years, like we said last year, Arkansas finds ways to beat this team or keep it close.
I like Tennessee to cover -12.5. Interim head coach. Arkansas has no defense. Really, it's Bobby Petrino and Taylor Green and everybody else. Like, I knew Arkansas was going to be bad when I saw they had a 30-year-old receiver.
Oh yeah, the guy that played baseball. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, bro, once you
yeah,
get it's like, what's the you got a
yeah.
30
So
year old receiver?
they've been doing that forever, man. That's been allowed since of time.
I know
Last one
Brandon
that we can
Whedon.
remember was Brandon Wheaton.
Yeah, but it's
Dude was
still like,
like it got drafted in the first round.
yeah, and it's still like, dog, like. Unless Taylor Green has like a Nico Iamaleava, I'm possessed by the spirit of Brady. I think Tennessee covers, but I can see Arkansas hanging points on them. Because Bob Petrino is a really good play caller. Taylor Green is an incredible quarterback. I love him a lot. But their defense probably will come away with a few turnovers. And that's the thing with Arkansas. Like, they beat themselves too much in the red zone. I don't know if you peeped this, bro. There's been so many fumbles inside of the freaking 10, bro.
Yeah,
Rather if it's somebody
yeah.
doing something moronic, like what you saw at the Arizona Cardinals, or like
Oh,
defense.
that one was, oh my God,
Yeah,
bro.
bro. Like
Oh my.
that was a validated crash out, bro. People got, bro, it's jobs on the line, brother. Can't
Yeah.
be can't
I
be
could
doing
also
stuff
talk
like
about
that.
that the first game of the year when Boise State when Maddox Mason Maddox or whatever fumble almost fumbled the ball right there on the 2 yard line. You're like,
Yeah.
bro,
Illinois, bro, had two fumbles on the goal line. It's like these defenses, like now they're just practicing the peanut punch. That's just all they do now. They just punch the ball out. And
yeah.
Arkansas, did you see how they lose? Did you see how they lost to Memphis, bro?
Yeah, because I had Memphis plus 7.5.
Yeah, bro. Like that's the perfect epitome of this team, man. It's like even if they do play a good game and they keep it close with Tennessee, like they would still find a way to give it to them in the end. I just can't see their defense stopping Tennessee at all. Like they're gonna have to at least put up 40 with Tennessee because Tennessee had three turnovers against Mississippi State a few weeks ago and still found a way to win that
Yeah,
game.
that was crazy. They
Bro.
wanted. I did see how that ended out. That
Still
was
put up 40.
yeah, that was nuts. That was nuts. Another SEC matchup. We got the Florida Gators, fresh off that win against the Longhorns. Yeah, I said Longhorns. That's how I feel about it right now. They're going to Aggie Nation against Texas A&M. Um, I believe, I think it was 7.5 last time I
I
saw
saw
it.
six.
Okay, so it's between 6 and 7.5. I be forgetting the lines you get because you are in Florida, like we talked about it earlier. It's a little different compared to if you're somewhere else.
Okay.
So, 7.5, 6. What's your thoughts on that? Because I think this A&M team don't blow out teams, though. I'm convinced they don't, bro.
Yep. Yep. And you also, I don't love their quarterback situation at all. Like the issue that I have with Marcel Reed is that passes 15 yards or more, he's completing under 40%. And they have some really good receivers. They got Kevin Concepcion, Busey, but his mechanics are really off. Like when he throws the ball, like he has like a Colin Kaepernick-ish kind of throwing motion where he just winds it up. It's just, yeah, man. Like I can see Florida keeping this close because for one, they have outstanding defense. And the way that they played against Texas was really impressive because they got a bunch of depth on that defensive line. They have no Caleb Banks, number 88. He's a future first round pick next year. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the country. And for them to have the kind of penetration that they were getting against a Texas offensive line that has been in disarray, but they just have so many guys that can get after you. Plus, they got a really good secondary. Like, have you seen Cormani McClain this year?
Yeah, and you see how Coach Prime is missing that.
Yeah, and Texas A&M is a run dependent team. Like if they can't run the football, you force this to be a game where it's drop back pass, 30 plus, they're going to get in trouble. And if DJ Lagway plays the way that he did last week and they can get that ground game going with Jaden Ball, because the thing about Florida that we overlook is that this is a talented team. And if you're a talented team, you're a capable team. And if you put a little bit of desperation on top of that, you become a dangerous team. And although this is a road game, I can't see Florida keeping this close because last year, remember, they went on the road after that bye when we thought Billy Napier was about to get fired when they got manhandled by A&M in the swamp. And then they turned the season around. They only lost to Tennessee, which they could have won that game if it wasn't for the Mertz injury, plus like a few turnovers that they have from Lagway. So Billy Napier has shown when it comes to big games, as long as he does have a bunch of injuries, Florida's relatively healthy. Like he can get right with you. Now, will Florida win this game? I doubt it because Billy Napier, and you can't trust him late in the game. But this is a game that I do believe that Florida does cover and they do get right. Like I love their defense, and I don't like how dependent Texas A&M's offense is on running the football.
Did they call Billy Napier, what was it, the king of the group of five or something like that?
Sunbelt Billy.
Comeback Billy. Okay,
Sunbelt
I
Billy.
knew it was something they called him. I was like, I figured it was something, but I definitely do agree. I don't want to really talk about years ago, but it could go down to where I remember years I had picked I think the over under for this game one year was like 45 and a half. And this is when Anthony Richardson was there. And that first half, it was a complete shootout. And I'm like, oh shit. It could come out like this because I mean that's kind of how these teams do play. And I mean, I like the coach from Texas A&M. I mean,
Mike
he
Elko. Yeah.
showed what he can do with Duke, but I mean that's the only option they could have had because I don't know if you were before they hired him. They were trying to get
Mark
Dan
Stoops.
Campbell a lifetime contract. And it's
Yeah. Then
like,
they
well,
went
it's too
after
late
Bob
what he's doing
Stoops.
with Detroit. It's like it's a little too late now.
Then they
If
tried to
it
get
was
Stoops from UK.
yeah, if it was kind of like how years ago when Harbaugh was at the Niners and
Yeah.
we knew he was about to get fired and Michigan and all them told him to come, that's when I could see Dan Campbell be like, all right, I'm gonna go back here to where I was at. But
Yeah. But not
anyway,
North
they're
Carolina.
good where they're at. But like I mentioned, they don't cover these anything past three. They don't
I was
really.
shocked they covered against Mississippi State last week.
They did.
It was 31-9. It's like now it was slow, methodical, but it's like
Yeah, but like I think that game against UTSA, I was like,
yeah.
and the UTSA has not been
But the
bad.
Auburn game for me is why I like Florida to cover because that if
Yeah,
you
that's
outgain the
that
team,
yes, it was like 16-10, and they were
yeah,
six and
like
a half,
and
right?
they outgained them like 400, 500 yards to 155, and you only win by 6. And Auburn had a chance to win.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Speaking of Auburn, next game we got the Georgia Bulldogs traveling to Auburn to take on the Tigers. They're 3.5 point underdogs. Now, like I said, I am older than you, so I've seen Hugh Freeze. It feels like I've seen him on his fourth, fifth SEC team. I'm not a Hugh Freeze guy. Never really was. I still think I think he's okay, but
Man, that
I
play
think
calling
another
against
coach somewhere in the
A&M in the
South needs to
end,
take that over, man. What's your thoughts on that game, though?
man, his play calling and the end against that A&M game was really egregious. It's like
Because it
if
was
you
so
watch,
winnable.
yeah, and it's like if you watch that game, you saw how bad their passing offense was, and their offensive line couldn't protect the soul. Like their left tackle had like 4 false starts, and they said they was going to bench him. They still did it. He still had false starts, and then it blows. This what blows me. It's 3rd and 1. Run the damn ball. I don't care if they know you're finna run it. The sign that you're a physical football team, that you have a good offensive line, is that you can run the football when everybody knows you're going to run it. And instead, he throws it when you know your offensive line can't protect the soul. He throws it again on 4th and 1. It's like
Yeah, see,
you see here's the allure with the folks who want to take Auburn to cover plus 3.5. It's not because of the Auburn team. It's more so due to like the lore and the black magic around Jordan Hare Stadium. Cause you know, like there's certain stadiums that you play in that things can just get a little bit weird, and playing in Jordan Hare, we've seen a lot of weird stuff. Of course, we're never going to forget about the kick six. That's definitely one of the most
man.
iconic.
Oh my God. Okay. This is a quick story about that day, actually. I think I was like, Jesus, bro, you about to take me. I think I was like 19. So I was 19 and
Shoot,
my
I was
cousin.
11.
Yeah, I was 19, so my cousin was at Ferris State. And if you know, obviously the transfer quarterback they got from Ole Miss quarterback
Trinidad Trent
yep,
Chambliss.
so it's
Yeah.
from Ferris State, which is about not far from Grand Rapids. So he came over to visit back in Detroit and we were going to this club, but I'm like, yo, I'm gonna pick you up in a minute. Let me finish watching this Bama Auburn game. And I'm thinking like, okay, this is about to go into overtime. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Which he just kind of missed it. That was a long kick, But if you're Saban, you just take the knee and go to overtime. Like it wasn't a realistic kick. But the fact that this guy ran it back, bro, and it was just like, yo. And then speaking of
Yo.
Georgia, that same year, that fluke pass, bro, like the ball was tipped, and my man,
Oh yeah, you had the prayer of Jordan Hare. Yeah.
bro, yeah. So like, I agree, bro. Jordan Hare is like a weird spot. I think if anything, I think people think that Georgia is not how they used to be, but I
Yeah.
think Gunnar Stockton has been playing pretty well. I mean.
Yeah.
He got thrown in the woods against Notre Dame, but ever since then, against Alabama, which it was a neck and neck game,
Yeah, I
and
felt he played good enough to win that.
yeah, I don't think he's a
He
bad
played great against
quarterback.
Tennessee. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
I think
mean,
that
and they should have honestly had lost. So for him to bring that comeback, I mean, I think it's doable. Like I said, I'm just not a fan of Hugh Freeze. It's not really more the offense; it's really more on the defensive side. But the offense, I do agree because if you're talking about your 3rd and 1. So I look at it like this. I'm more than likely that play must have happened on first down to get him a 2nd and 1. So if it's a
yeah.
2nd and 1, that's when you say, all right, let's throw an aggressive play.
Yeah,
It
you
doesn't
feel me?
work.
We still got
Third
two
down, we're
down.
handing it off.
Yeah. You feel me? Like,
It's
and then like here's another issue why I strongly am taking Georgia to cover -3.5. Well, I don't think we'll see any upsets in this game. Auburn is a one-trick pony. If they can't run the football, because they got Jackson Arnold, who was playing at Oklahoma last year, and when
Mhm.
he was at his best is when he was running the football. He can't really throw that well. Like they got good receivers, but he's just so
That's
limited.
the crazy part. They got elite skill position players.
Yeah. And Jackson Arnold, with just how inconsistent he is as a passer, it's like he's a good runner, but he holds the ball too long. His accuracy is hit or miss. And like you can't beat Georgia just ground and pounding them. Now, there is a shot that they could do that because they do have a really good offensive line. As a matter of fact, this is the best offensive line that Auburn has had and over the past decade. So this
It's a
offense
handful
does
there, so
have,
you're right.
yeah, like this offense does have the capability to be really good. And maybe that A&M game was a one-off thing because they were on the road and they had a bunch of false start penalties and whatnot. They couldn't get out of their own way. Maybe they played their best football in this game because last year they had games that nobody expected them to be in with Peyton Thorne and they came really close to winning them. So I mean, like Auburn does have the talent to win this game,
Absolutely.
but I don't trust that they're going to get enough out of their passing offense to be versatile enough to beat Georgia. So I like Georgia to win this one pretty comfortably. Like you giving me 3.5, I love Georgia in this spot.
Okay. And lastly, as far as, one that I plan talking to, of course, we'll probably have a random one we'll think about later. Michigan is traveling to Southern California.
Yes, thank you for bring. I was going to bring this up for you, man.
Oh, come on, bro. I was gonna be ready for this one, man. I kind of went in order because I looked at the times and I'm like, well, 7:30 because it'll be 4:30 in the West Coast time, but they're playing at the Coliseum, which the one thing I've had learned about that arena is even though it's the LA Coliseum, it's right around the corner from South Central. Like so it's pretty much in the heart of the hood. So, but
Oh
I
yeah, they
know
always say
Michigan
that
fans will
about
be there, bro.
USC, straight in the trenches.
Yeah. So
And I mean, like,
go
and if
ahead,
they're
bro.
going to win this game, shoot, they play in the trenches. Shoot, they got to get right in the trenches against Michigan, man. I feel this is the biggest game of Lincoln Riley's head coaching tenure at USC. Because a few weeks ago, everybody was feeling good about USC. And then they play an Illinois team that got smashed by Indiana. And I was telling all my homies who was taking like USC, I took Illinois to win that game outright because USC still has to prove that they have the physicality to win in the Big Ten. They may have the physicality to beat some of the average teams. Like you may not have like upsets like how you had the Maryland last year, although Maryland's pretty good. But I'm just speaking in context of last year since that was Maryland's only Big Ten win against USC. And remember last year when they played Michigan, they were up in this game at one point, and then they allowed Michigan to get back into it. And Michigan unleashed some psycho ground and pound. I've never seen a team so committed to the run. that they're running a 2 minute offense to win the game, just running the football. That's sick. That's sick. You
That's
know how,
called tradition.
but it's like we
So
got 2 minutes left, and you're gonna run the you trust your run game more than your passing offense. Like you're insane. It's like I don't trust USC to stop the run in this game. The only way they can stop this ground game is if they go into the fourth quarter multiple possessions and they force this to be a game that Michigan has to win with Bryce Underwood throwing the ball 30 plus times to do so. Because then, okay, yeah, you still might give up a few plays here and there because I think he's a really good player, but Michigan's strength is not on the perimeter. USC's strength is on the perimeter. So they want to make this a perimeter game. And I do think that Michigan is a really good team, but I do think that if you can get to 27 points, that's the magic number to win against Michigan. Because I don't think their offense is good enough to go toe to toe if this game does end up going that way. Like they have to bleed the clock, they have to control time possession. So if USC can get out to a big lead early, that's how they can stop the run. But I like Michigan, and I they are a 2.5 point underdog, correct?
yeah,
Yeah, like I love them to win just because I still don't think that USC has the mentality nor the physicality to compete with the team that perfectly embodies what it is to play Big Ten football, big boy football. Can you actually impose your will on the line of scrimmage? And with Justice Haynes, how he's been playing, he's been a Heisman contender this year. He's been the best running back in college football outside the dude from Missouri. So I just I can see USC winning this game, but I just don't know if they have the physicality. And we saw what Illinois did to them. So I think the same thing can happen.
yeah. Well, I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this that are based from, they're in Michigan. I'm sure they're glad that somebody from a whole nother state, a whole nother region is agreeing with that one. With Michigan, I have to say though, every time that Bryce Underwood has played, he's gotten better. I think they learned from this is why I say in college there's a such thing as a good loss. They lost to Oklahoma, and the score didn't look as bad because I believe what the first couple plays of the first half, Bryce throws a dot. Now, I
Yeah.
think the problem they have is that they don't have the receivers
Mm-hmm.
because there's games I've seen like against Nebraska where if the
Guys getting
receiver was
boxed.
maybe a few yards faster, that's a scoop. That's an easy touchdown. But because he's, isn't able to get there in time, obviously it's an incompletion. I do think they are going to rely on their run game. And I do see a lot of, RPO options for Bryce. Like I said, Haynes, I do agree. He's been a great addition to this team. And you're right. With the trenches with Southern Cal, when I think Southern Cal, I think show off, sunshine, you know,
Yeah.
let's look good, pretty, let's throw the ball.
Yeah.
That's what
Lincoln
I
Riley. Yeah, that's what he wants to do. They got a really
and
good receiver.
and that's fine, but when you can't block people,
Yeah.
can't get after the quarterback, I
Yeah.
mean that's going to hurt you. And listen, I mean, this isn't Pete Carroll era where like they're smashing you in the mouth. This isn't that era anymore. And I almost thought my thing with Lincoln Riley was the reason I had a bad taste with him leaving Oklahoma like he did is because I think he was scared of, oh, well, they're going to the SEC. I'm trying to leave and
Yeah.
avoid a big conference. Well, the Pac-12 dismantled, and now you're playing Big Ten teams where some of them can come right to you. They may not be the most talented skill-wise position. I agree. They got a better perimeter. They got a better quarterback right now. I mean, just off the potential right now, but it's the fact that if you can't block nobody, you can't get to nobody, it's going to be a long night. So I definitely do agree on that point.
Yeah, like I'll probably take like, and another thing is USC doesn't know how to finish games at all. Like they just don't know how to finish games because they can't run the football.
I agree. Before I let you go, because this has already been a good talk. Who do you think is in a hot seat, or who do you think, as far as coaching, first year coach, do you think has been impressing you? I know you. Listen, you're the only guy I know as far as non-CBS people that talk about all these conferences and coaches, and you spot on with them. I can name one good first year coach, but as far as hot seat guys, who do you think right now is in a hot seat? I don't think it's Billy Napier, by the way.
I definitely think that for James Franklin, he could go out a lot like Mark Rick. And I know you being an OG fan, you remember what the Mark Rick tenure was. Very good. The same excuses they made for why James Franklin can't get fired, they made for Mark Rick. He's a good coach. It's hard to find a coach that can win you 9, 10 games every season. But the problem with Mark Rick is that he couldn't win the games that mattered when it came to getting Georgia the SEC championship or getting into national championship game. Because remember that SEC championship, was it like 2011, 2012? I believe it was 2012. That's year Alabama played Notre Dame for the BCS. If they get out of bounds,
Oh yeah, that was the SEC championship game. Yep.
yeah, like if they get out of bounds, they win that game and they win a national championship because we know they're smacking Notre Dame with the talent advantage that they have. But unfortunately, they just found a way to lose that game. And it's kind
Quick
of the same.
question. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
You
Was
good.
AJ Murray the quarterback for that?
Yep. Aaron Murray. Yep.
Aaron Murray, my bad, because I know Matt Stafford was there, and that's actually the problem I thought I had with Matt Stafford going to the NFL was he couldn't win big games. It
And turns
almost
out it
went
was a
where the
Mark
games.
Rick problem.
See what I'm saying? So
And you see what like Penn State's the same thing. Like Mark Rick could win games, but not the games against Bama and Florida. James Franklin can't beat Michigan. He can't beat Ohio State. And now he has an Oregon problem.
yeah,
And I still believe that he's a good coach, but it's just a psychological hurdle that I think he's dealing with. And if he can't get this ship corrected, look, I'm still taking Penn State minus 22 against Northwestern. People think that I'm crazy for that, but they're a good team. Like the talent's there.
is
And
it?
it's like,
Wait. Is it at Penn State or at
yeah,
Northwestern?
is that Penn State?
Okay, if it was at Northwestern, I would have probably argued against that. But you know what? Also, the crazy part is Penn State can't even cover games. I don't think they covered all year.
Yeah, like I think that now at this point, James Franklin has been pushed in the corner. And when you push people in the corner, they do one or two things. Either they curl up in the ball and let you whoop on them, or they push back. And James Franklin looks like a fighter to me. Like I still believe he's a pretty good coach. And desperation is kind of the best motivation for coaches that have the kind of issues that James Franklin has had. We've seen Gus Malzahn make a living off this. Every time he was about to get fired, he'll end up smacking Georgia. He'll smack Alabama. And then they'll go on the run and somehow get in the SEC championship. He'll get a contract extension. And then like he'll repeat the same cycle 3 years later. So with James Franklin, like I believe that UCLA loss is going to do to this team what losing to Michigan did for Ohio State last year.
It could. I think they do play Ohio State, and it's crazy how we talk about tradition. And I told you every year as a child, bro, to like just last season, I've always watched Penn State, Michigan. This is the second year they don't play each other because of realignment. And I know you talk about the complications of realignment is that. So they have to worry about Ohio State. I believe this game will be, I think it's going to be at Ohio State this year.
Yep.
So,
Then after that, they play Indiana,
and do they play, and
Happy
I don't know
Valley.
off the top of my head, do they play Maryland this year? Because Maryland has actually been very underratedly good this year. I will say that.
I believe so.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's so see, that's really the thing too,
Oh
because
no, 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 they don't. They've got Nebraska though.
well, I'm not really on Nebraska, but if it's at Nebraska, I could see that being an upset alert. If it's at Nebraska,
It's home.
okay, so see, they're going to win every game that matters, and I mean they'll probably get in the playoffs. They probably won't be in the Big Ten championship game, but they'll probably be in the playoffs. But yet again, though, after using the UCLA like you did, that hurts you.
Yeah.
I know some people don't get it, but I understand it when it comes to why point spreads are so important in college football because when you have those boosters, hint, hint, Lane Kiffin, you see how he's been talking right about it right after the game. Yeah, they didn't cover the
Yeah.
spread. Bro, when boosters are dropping money on your team to do good and expect great things, they want some margins. They want margins, okay? Especially when Penn State is, like I said, one of the most known prestigious schools in the universities. like, you need to be showing up. So that's one thing. I know we talked about hot seat. I'm gonna give a guy that I say as a first year coach has been impressive to me. And as I was talking about Deion Sanders, I kept thinking about him. It's going to be the former Heisman Trophy winner, Eddie George. What he's doing at Bowling Green, I know they're like what 2-3 right now, but he came in the middle of the offseason after recruiting, which you don't usually really see that. You usually see him around January, February. You usually see coaches that get hired in from the later years. But I like what I've seen from him, and he did great things at Tennessee State, just like what Coach Prime did great at Jackson State. And if you ask me, after Dion got done beating him up for a little bit, he became the guy that was blowing out teams. And what he's done with Bowling Green, listen, they beat Liberty this year, which I thought Liberty was going to be a lot better with Ethan Vasco, which is complete opposite with this team this year. They lost badly against, Ohio, but Ohio's one of the best teams in the MAC. They
Yeah.
are actually a 10-point underdog at home against Toledo, which I'm actually leaning towards Bowling Green to cover because I do think, like I said, Eddie George is going to be a good coach. This guy played at Ohio State, won a Heisman at Ohio State. If there's one guy who can understand what it takes to win, and I mean, been to Super Bowls, I think Eddie George is definitely going to have a great career. I
I
don't
got a
know if
good
he's
one
going to
for you.
be. Go ahead.
Even though he's not really new, Scott Frost is back at UCF, and I think a lot
Yeah.
of people forgot about it. And I thought that they were going to be absolute like dog water. They've been pretty
Nah.
good, like,
Nah. Because the guy knew it, bro. That's like the greatest.
but they had so much that it's like they overturned so much on the roster. But I guess that's the thing with like playing in the Big 12, like, because like Rich Rod is back at West Virginia. He brings in like a transfer portal class of like 70. So it's like when you overhauling the team so much, it's like you have to expect like a little bit of like some growing pains. But Scott Frost is like he hit the ground up
Well,
and running.
well, I think the fact is though, Scott Frost is the greatest thing that ever happened to UCF.
UCF, yeah.
I mean, he made
And
Blake Bortles a first round pick.
yeah, he had some and he did say like he said something questionable like a few like like Big 12 media days. They asked him what went wrong with Nebraska. They was like, don't take the wrong job. And then it's kind of like, bro, you were the golden boy of Nebraska. Didn't you lead them to a national championship? Like
Yeah, so I mean, it's because of that right there, right? It's like you know how you got, or I know you got family members that like the Cowboys. I know
yeah,
family members. It's like they're still stuck on the 90s. And don't get me wrong, that's when Nebraska was great, but like
feel like it's
I know
over now.
Chicago Bulls fans from Chicago, they're not talking about the Bulls as this year. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not stuck on 1990 anymore. They're currently where they're at now. And when you are in Nebraska, it's one of those programs where outside of, as far as the South, well, Midwest Southish, outside of Texas and Oklahoma, as far as a former Big 12 team, you mentioned Nebraska next. We've seen what they done with I don't know, you remember Turner Gill? He actually was a head coach at what school was he was a head coach at Buffalo, and then they were so good that he went to Kansas right after Charlie Weiss got fired. He was like the new guy. Didn't last long. So I don't know what it is about Nebraska. I guess the former Nebraska players that turn coaches, they just don't do good, I guess, in those big time programs. But UCF being in the Big 12, it's weird because Big 12 is all over the place. You can play in Orlando, and then the next week you're playing in Boulder, and then the next week you're playing somewhere in like Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah.
So it is kind of all over the place. But with Rich Rod, like you mentioned, and I mentioned him from his Michigan days. I think West Virginia, he'll get back to what he used to do because he hasn't. See, I'm like Scott Frost. It's been about maybe 6 to 8 years since he left Orlando from
Yeah.
Nebraska. Rich Rod's been over almost 15 years, bro, ever since he left to go to Michigan. So ever since that time, he went to Michigan, Arizona. He was at Jacksonville. Look what he did with Jacksonville State. They're
Yep.
still kind of relevant in Conference USA. So he,
Another one, another underrated coach, Jack Dickhart. So he was at Washington State. And I didn't even know that he was at Wake Forest until like I saw they was keeping it close with Georgia Tech, and like
Yeah,
somebody was talking about him. I was like, oh yeah, he's a pretty decent coach. Now, although like Wake Forest is nothing crazy, it's like they're not like, oh, we're from way dead and just lose. You feel me? Like they almost beat Georgia Tech. Like they handled Virginia Tech, and they doing this with Robbie Ashford.
yeah. Oh, wait. Are you talking about the guy that was at Auburn in South
Yes,
Carolina? He's like
yes,
transferred like two, three different schools. He's like a
yes.
baseball player, right?
He's starting that Wake Forest now, and he's been all right. He's been all right. I mean, if you went with Robbie Ashford, like you're a pretty good coach to
Because
me.
Ashford is not a good quarterback, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I know he's a good baseball player from what I've heard. I think he needs to start going to baseball at that point. Like, I mean, just like Kyler Murray at this point, it's like, dude, you could have made more money.
He's like Colorado's quarterback, but the only difference is Wake Forest has slightly better coaching.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree. And you being in the state of North Carolina, the recruiting is kind of easier. Because I mean, I'm not all depth into North Carolina recruiting in high school sports, but I mean, if Drake May and Danny Dimes can come from Charlotte and be NFL quarterbacks, and they went to schools that weren't powerhouse schools in football. I mean, it's possible with their. So I do kind of like the landscape, and yeah, man, I really like what we're seeing so far. I do think Brent Key, speaking of coaching, has been good. Brent Key has been good, but now he needs to start winning by margins because I do think Georgia Tech can make the playoffs. But I mean, I know they beat Clemson, but
And they beat
you
Miami.
just beat Wake Forest. So they play who? Virginia Tech this week. If you
Yeah.
just beat Virginia Tech, which I know last year we thought they had potential,
Ooh.
it's going to be a problem. And then, you don't play nobody major to maybe Miami, which I do think they could be.
But they
It's
don't have to play
possible.
Miami in the regular season this year. They might see them in
And
the
that's what I said in the ACC
ACC
championship game.
championship
I
or
think those are the
Virginia
two best teams in the conference right now. So
or Virginia. And Virginia's schedule is really like, I know you got that look, but Virginia's schedule is easy from this point out.
yeah, but their defense is just I don't like their defense, bro. What is like? I mean, I like their offense, but it's their defense. I mean, their defense can get scored on easily, bro. That's like the thing that scares me about Virginia. And I don't think they should. I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but I thought it was a little way too much on how they were quick to rank them again after the Florida
Yeah,
State.
did they beat
Like
Florida
they were
State?
so quick.
Yeah.
And then I don't like how like
But they beat Louisville though. That's what made me view them a little bit differently because like I thought that Louisville was going to win that because they got Jeff Brom. You know what they call Jeff Brom, the upset master. It's like
hey,
you
what did
betting
he
up
say?
against.
Hey, this is the classic part, and I know you always see what I posted. Do I have a post today? Let's play football. Of course, he was the XFL quarterback. I always think about that when I see that
He
clip.
played in that was him.
Yes.
Yeah, like the thing with Jeff Brown, like if you bet against him at home as an underdog, like you're tripping. Well, shoot, bro, they were a favorite, bro, and like
Yeah.
Virginia, like they won it in OT, but I thought they was gonna lose that game. So if you get a win over a legit Louisville team, like I got to start looking at you a little bit differently. Like Tony Elliott, maybe he does have the ball rolling. We know Clemson's offense has been the same since he's been gone. Like he's a guy who's on the hot seat, but this is a year he has to win, but it looks like he's kind of like figured it out with how well they look. So we don't know how this season could go as far as like how chaotic it's been. I mean, so we can see Texas Tech with a national championship. Like as far as teams that I trust the bet on that I wouldn't mind, like okay, like if you lose me a few dollars here and there, like I won't be mad at it just because of the talent discrepancy is Texas Tech and Miami. You see, like if you put them in the SEC or the Big Ten, you probably see them in more closer games. But since they're in conferences that don't have like top tier NIL budgets, and they do, like Texas Tech spent the second most money on their team right behind Texas at 28 million. And you can see that like before this season, I said they should blow out everybody. If this truly is the best, if this is the best team that money can buy, they should run through the Big 12 and they done that.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah,
they
them beating Utah was kind of like
yeah, whoa,
it
whoa.
was
And you
yeah.
see their defensive line, they got like three guys that projected to be first round picks from that defensive line. And Utah's like two offensive tackles out, locks for the first round. Like, and next week, I forgot who they play this week, but next week they play Arizona State.
This week, Utah, yeah, Utah plays Arizona State this week. Actually, let's
Whoa,
talk
you
about that
Texas
real
Tech,
briefly.
Texas Tech.
No, Texas Tech plays I forgot who they play. I just know Arizona State plays Utah this week at Utah. What's your thoughts with that? Since you did kind of mention that, what's your thoughts with that game? It's going to be at Salt Lake.
I don't really have a read on that game because I it can go either way. Like Utah, I like their quarterback, Devin Dampier. He's been really good, really excellent, and they are really good up front. Arizona State is like I like the quarterback, I like the coaching, and they got a few good players as well. Their defense has definitely got a lot better. Also, I really don't know. Like it really can swing. It really could swing anyway. I guess that's why everybody loves the Big 12 so much because like you
Bro,
really
it
don't
is a lot
know.
of unpredictability. Like the last 2 days, and I'll stop talking about games for this week, but like I was eyeing BYU -1.5 against Arizona. It's like telling me take BYU, take BYU. But in my mind, are they frauds or are they for real? Because every time around this year, they get a momentum and then they lose a game or two where you're like, how did they lose? Like I remember last
They're
year.
legit. Like if you're winning with a freshman quarterback with number, like they lost their quarterback like literally a month before the season because
Yeah.
like it's like a religious school, so
It's
they
a
have
Mormon school, so yeah, they
yeah
got their little I think what is it called? I don't think it's called like it's called a mission. They got
yeah,
a
and
mission.
also you can't be out here like playing around before marriage. You feel me? Well,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
they're big on that, definitely.
yeah. So their starting quarterback last year, Retzloff, had like some false accusations made against them. And although they were proven to be false, it's like he still did it. So it's like he ended up getting punished. So he had to transfer to Tulane.
Yeah.
And like they got this dude named Bear Bachmeyer, a true freshman, with number 47
Hey,
winning
yeah.
games. Like
That
if
is
you're
a
winning
nasty
games with
number.
number
A
47 at
linebacker
quarterback,
number.
you're legit. Yeah, bro. Because the last time I saw a quarterback that had an ugly number, you know who I'm about to bring up. You know
Devin
who, because he
Gardner.
was dead wrong for wearing that number 98, bro. He was dead wrong
Devin
for wearing
Gardner,
that,
bro.
bro.
And you know,
He was wild for wearing that number 98, bro. Like he better
oh
have
my
had a special
God,
reason for
bro. And
that.
the
Like,
crazy thing about Devin Gardner, I'll say, I think he's starting to become a FS1 college football
yeah,
commentator. So I will say this: he's a hell of a commentator. He was actually the Lions preseason commentator for a long time. I know some people are probably wondering like where he's been. So like I've seen him around, especially with Big Ten Network stuff. So him being an FS1 commentator is not bad actually. I actually
oh
like it
yeah.
because you get to understand a guy who was a 5-star guy. Michigan didn't really work out like that, but when
He
you
wasn't
got
garbage. Like he was solid.
I mean, when you got Denard Robinson there, bro, that's kind of
Yeah.
what it was too. They made him a
Yeah.
receiver. Yeah, he was a receiver for like his first 2 years, which I was like, why? But then when Denard Robinson got hurt, he went back to quarterback. So
But they
they
gave him
just
that
didn't
number
have the weapons
98,
like that,
though.
honestly. So
They gave him that number 98. I'll never forget
yeah,
that. Like, I
yeah,
hope
I
he was wearing
remember
that
that
for
one.
like a family member or something like that. 'Cause, like number
All right,
98.
Shea Patterson, we had number
Number
20 at
20, I was
Ole
like,
Miss, and then
any
he went to
bro.
two at Michigan. I was like, yeah,
I
bro.
said any quarterback that wears like a non-traditional quarterback number, or you got two long sleeves and two gloves on, like Kenny Pickett, bro, you're ducked out, bro. So for this bare
Except for
buck,
Doug Flutie, bro. Doug Flutie was 22. Okay. But Doug Flutie is a legend in college.
but he made that 22 look cold though. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if you remember this dude from IMG from like a few years ago, but he made number 44 look cool. Like, I think his name was Bernard Riley Hills or something like that. Bernard Riley Hills, like he was like a 5-star corner. He went
Was
to
that the time when
Oklahoma.
they played Bishop Sycamore? Was it during that time?
No, it was a little bit before that. This is when IMG was fairly dude. You probably don't know him, but like he was like he just went viral for wearing 44, and it was like, bro, you're a corner wearing 44 now. Everybody wearing 44.
But
He made it
Marlon
kind of
Humphrey wore
cool.
44. I remember that. So I mean,
Yeah, but it's like with him
I
though,
get
it's
you.
like
I get you.
I was like, you making that 44 look tough, bro. But that number 98 though, it's like, no, bro, it's
Yeah,
not
bro.
it.
Well, the reason why he wore it too because that was President Gerald Ford's number at Michigan. Yeah, he
Hmm.
played the president. He played at Michigan, so that was the honor. Yeah,
It
yeah,
had to be something like
yeah,
that. Cause I was
yeah,
like, bro.
yeah. I
But if
think
you
I
wearing
think
47 at quarterback, bro, and you're balling like this, yeah, you're tough, bro. Like, and Kalani Sitake is a good head coach, bro. Like
absolutely.
BYU, bro, like they had a down season the year before last, and that's like the worst season that I think he's ever had. Like, I definitely think that BYU is definitely a tough out for anybody.
Yeah, especially with the NIL money because I'm not even gonna talk about the football part. They the biggest booster is the Utah Jazz owner, and you saw how they bought my man's from that preparatory school. He's supposed to be number one overall
Yeah,
pick
no, the number one overall pick
basketball.
in next year's draft. Yeah,
I mean, so if they can invest into the football team, which they can, I mean, that would definitely make BYU the closest thing they've been since Ty Detmer, Steve Young era. So this would definitely be something for BYU. I think they could make the college football playoffs. And before I really let you go at this point, I know I said it a couple times. Give me three teams you think can make the college football playoff that right now no one's talking about. I know it's a lot going on until like around the end of October, when we start seeing some of these standings, but I know Ole Miss is kind of flirting around there. We know about Georgia Tech. It has to be somebody we're not talking about in these Power Four conferences that could sneak in because I didn't think Indiana could sneak in last year, and well, they did. So,
I love Washington, bro. Like
mm,
DeMar Williams, I was telling people about him all this all season that this is like Kyler Murray meets Jaden Daniel meets Lamar Jackson, but 5'10", 190 pounds. Like this dude is so dynamic, very accurate too. Like I think he's been the best quarterback in the Big Ten this year. Some may say Julian Sand, but I think Washington's a really good team. Jed Fish probably will be the leading candidate for that Florida job too if it comes open. They got Jonah Coleman too, and their defense has also improved a little bit. Nebraska, well, I can't say Nebraska. People was kind of high on them.
everyone's high home because they got this fake Patty Mahomes dude. Listen,
Well, they got him and also Matt Rule is in his third season. Now, everywhere that Matt Rule has been, Temple, Baylor, year three is when he does his big one. Right now, they only have one loss, so it's like
true.
you feel me. So everything is still on the table for them. So I definitely think that they could be a little bit in the running, but everybody was kind of already high on them.
Yeah, what
I have
benefits, I'm out, I bad, I mean to cut you off. What benefits them too is you're right, they lost one game, but them beating Cincinnati in the earlier season.
yeah,
See what Cincinnati, I believe they only lost one. Has Cincinnati lost one game since then?
yeah,
So that looks good because if they even contend for a Big 12 championship game, you can sit there and say, well, Nebraska, I mean, they won these games. They lost to Michigan, but I mean, look what they did against Cincinnati. Even though you could say it was a neutral site game, but it felt more like it was in Nebraska because it was in Kansas. Well, it was in Missouri, but Kansas City, of course, we know that's where it was at. So,
now a SEC team that I think could be a little bit of a sleeper. Still Oklahoma, bro. Like, I had Oklahoma getting into the playoffs before this season started, and people was like, "Oh, you overrating them." It's like I think with like how the NIL and the transfer portal is, and Lane Kiffin, Hugh Freeze, a few other SEC coaches alluded to this with the oversaturation of good coaches and talent in this conference. 10-2 is the new 12-0.
yeah.
And some years, like you're gonna have teams like Georgia, Alabama, Texas that are always expected to be good, that have a season or two where like this one where it's like, damn, like we
Right.
didn't
They all
see this
lost one game
coming.
already. So,
Yeah,
well,
but
Texas
it's
lost
like,
two. So,
yeah, and it's like if you don't have the quarterback play or like you have like a few injuries, you know that can be the dagger that kind of like derails what looked to be a really promising year. But I love Oklahoma. And the last team is Virginia, only because like nobody really knows that Virginia is like ranked. It's like you just look at the AP poll, you like, damn.
Yeah. So like with well Oklahoma, I wouldn't really say okay. I think you probably said that because you think if they lose a game, it'll move them down. Because
I still think like I still don't think like people really view Oklahoma as like a playoff team. Like before this season, like only one I don't think nobody had Oklahoma making it to the playoffs but one person other than me. And like people still don't view Oklahoma as like a playoff team just because how difficult their schedule gets. Because once they get John, after they get past Texas, bro, they got a stretch where they play LSU, Alabama, Tennessee. I mean, look at South Carolina's next 5 games. They got LSU,
right.
Bama. Like it's a gauntlet for them. So it's like they could definitely be that first 3-loss team that gets in. And that's why I still view them as like a playoff team. I feel they're going to be that 3-loss team that gets in just because like how outrageously loaded their schedule was. And I want to get your thoughts on this before I get up on out of here because I really want to know how you feel about this.
Okay.
So I always hear people complaining about having preseason top 25 rankings with no games being played. We should wait to the middle portion of the season. My issue with that is I'm not disagreeing with that, but if you rank teams later in the season, you're still going to have teams that end up being flops. It's just like people want to try to say that the top 25 should not be used until the middle portion of the season because it makes the SEC look better than what it actually is. But in all actuality, like I don't even think it's close when it comes to the Big Ten versus SEC argument. Cause like, okay, yeah, the Big Ten has slightly more depth than what they had last year, but it's like the SEC is still like 8, 9, 10 teams deep. Like if you put Vanderbilt in the Big Ten, bro, like I believe they would be like a top 4 team in that conference, bro. I think that people are so tired of the SEC being as dominant as what it's been for a lifetime that they look for any small window to use to try to say it's overhyped. Like I want to know your thoughts on it. Like as far as like having preseason rankings and then like the difference between the Big Ten and SEC, which one do you think is better? Do you agree that the SEC is a little bit overrated?
Well, we're gonna start from the beginning, bro. If they don't like the teams that's ranked right now and all that, they would have hated the BCS era. They would have hated the BCS era. Like like they would have hated it. Yeah, right. Texas beats Oklahoma. Texas Tech beats Texas. Oklahoma beats Texas Tech. But guess who still goes to the national championship game? Oklahoma, right? So I mean, like they would have hated that. And also, I think that's kind of what motivated a playoff opportunity. Besides looking at well nowadays the FCS, which I think they're going to try to make them have a whole month playoffs like them. But my thoughts with the preseason AP, 20, top 25, listen, that's been a thing forever. It maybe if I'm wrong, you can probably, you can jump in and cut me off. The combination of the preseason top 25 all comes from where did you finish last year?
Yep.
Who did you lose?
Mm-hmm.
So also on top of that, how many players are back?
Mm-hmm.
And your recruiting class.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is what makes that up.
Yep.
So that's been a thing forever. Like I said, if they got a problem with it is now, because obviously when it comes to the playoff rankings, that's when it's like, when things
Yeah.
change.
It's more
That's
so
how
like it's the results. It's like you're no matter if you did this in the middle of the season, like I still feel you're gonna have teams that start in the top 10 and just end up falling out because it's just like that's just college football. Like you're never
absolutely.
gonna get it completely right. And you still need like a starting point to go off because not every team ranked inside the like not every ranked SEC team is overrated.
No, absolutely not. And to answer your question, SEC is still to me overall better than the Big Ten. I don't ever think SEC is overrated. And that's why I said if they would have hated the BCS era, there was a time where I remember it was Alabama, LSU, Mississippi. I want to say it was Hugh Freeze as a coach
Yeah,
there.
Ole Miss.
I mean, that's 3 teams in the top 5. four teams, maybe I'm talking about the top five. I mean, they would have hated it, but because of the playoff opportunity, which I do respect, it gives them all a chance to go to a natty game instead of one versus two in a natty game, and whoever's the loser in the SEC championship game is at the Sugar Bowl. So I don't mind it. I don't mind the change. Listen, I don't have no problem with NIL. I have no problem with the transfer portal because I remember when you transfer, you had to sit for a whole entire year.
Yep.
That no longer is a thing. I'm okay with all of the change of college football. Now, if they're going to expand the college football playoff, what they need to do, because I know they have these contracts, these television contracts. We seen it last year a little bit when we had ESPN and HBO Max do the games. Well, how about this? If we're going to expand more teams into it, just like we can watch on a Saturday, you can be watching the ESPN game. I could be watching the game on CBS, or it can be a game on FS1. If you're going to have all of these games kind of like an NCAA basketball tournament, where eventually they're talking about what, maybe 16 teams,
Yeah.
then you need to have more contracts open for TV. And I mean, that's why I'm okay with them with NIL. The only thing that sucks about NIL is when I play NCAA football, I can't take them to Madden. But
Yeah.
I'm okay with what they're doing with college football. I'm glad with it. I mean, this is the only sport where I can say every player is going to play their heart out, and because some people aren't going to the NFL. We know that. We've
Yeah.
seen it. Some
And we
players,
just saw Chris Jones quit on the play that led to the Jaguars getting the game winner. So,
and that's crazy. If I'm not mistaken, he went to Mississippi State, right?
yeah.
Is it the same time as Dak Prescott?
Yeah. With Dan Mullen.
That's he.
Yep.
Hey, yo, and you know what's crazy? I think that year was Mississippi State like the number two team
Yeah.
in the
They were
playoff.
actually they were actually in the top four. I think they were the number one team in the first ever initial CFP rankings.
Dog, and that was so. I mean, with Dak Prescott, bro. Like when you look back at it, those two players are the best players on that team. Nobody else had went to the NFL, so that's why, like, when people were talking crap about Cam Newton and SC, bro, he's the only player besides Nick Fairley that went to the NFL from that team. So
Yeah, bro. Like Pete. Yeah.
that's the thing about college, bro. Like you can be that. There's no I in team, but if you're that dynamic of a player,
Lamar.
bro, you can just change so much stuff, man. But JT, man, this has been a pleasure, man. Let them know where they can find you at. I'm gonna put your link in the description and everything because before you go, actually somebody that I worked with watched our last one. He was like, "When is he coming back on here?" So you got people who were wondering about you, but tell them where they can find you at, man.
Yeah, man, JT Sports. You guys will easily be able to check it out because like the YouTube had a new feature where like if you collab with somebody, you can like now add their channel. So now it pops up in both feeds. So you just click on JT Sports, that's where you can find me. We're talking NFL, college football 24/7. If you live, eat, breathe, and sleep football, JT Sports is a place to be, man. We just love talking football, NFL, college football. I mean, we just went for 2 hours on this, and I'm finna record in 15 minutes after this
Hey,
for like
man.
another 2 hours talking both NFL and college
Hey,
football. So
hey, listen, I fuck with your lives, bro. When I can make sure I'm able to watch them. I told you we were supposed to actually do this yesterday, but overtime, and I'll be doing it tomorrow. So this was the one time where I'm like, no matter if I'm tired or shit, bro, I'm gonna try to find something to be consistent with it. But like I said, man, pleasure being on here, man, and I will continue to be watching. I'm sure some other people here will be watching too, man, because you do eat, sleep, breathe football. Like, bro, it's times where like I'm listening to you in like the dog days of sports, and I'm like, this dude's still talking about spring training for spring games, and like spring games was 2 months ago, but I'll be like, you know, it's entertaining, bro, because it's I fuck with it, bro. But yeah, man, I'm gonna let you go, man. You do your thing, man, and I hope all is well, brother.
yes, sir, man. I appreciate you for having me on, man. Take care.
No problem, man, my guy.
All right, my dude.
Yeah, man, that is JT Sports right there, JT Sports Podcast, man. Y'all check him out, man. As always, like I say. Let's get this money out here, man. And let's be motherfucking safe, all right?